Hi, Jeff here at StopTheSnirt.com. Snirt happens, stop it. Today we're going to be installing a bottom seal and showing you how to do that, and the side and top seal on this commercial overhead door. Now, one of the reasons this door is only about two and a half years, one of the reasons the folks want to do this is because this is already letting, it's already starting to lose its memory. It doesn't form because when we get bad wind from the north, that door likes to move. And then we're also installing the bottom seal. If we look on the bottom of this here, look, I easily put my hand in here. So what does that mean? We're getting a lot of snirt critters in this building. Snow, dirt, heat loss, mice, and other critters. So we're going to show you how to install the bottom seal, side and the top, to stop snirt from happening. And when we're done with this garage door, this will be as tight as the front door of your home. So what we're going to do is we're going to first install the bottom seal on this overhead door. One of the reasons snirt is happening with this overhead garage door and will happen in other areas is this door is roughly about 2.5 years old. Installed it, but look what's happening. The ground has shifted and we have that gap here. So when you can see the daylight, you're going to get rain, snow, dirt, critters, and other snirty creatures in. And our bottom sealer stops snirt from happening. So we're going to install the bottom sealer and make sure snirt doesn't happen. We shut all the lights off here just to show you the air gap on this door that we're installing the bottom sealer. So snirt's happening here. Again, this garage door is 2.5 years old, and we're already seeing this type of problem. That's why it's so important to install a bottom sealer even on new doors, because it's like in the wintertime where you wear a shirt and a t-shirt. 2 layers are much more helpful. So this is a really good example why snirt is happening with this overhead garage door. This would be the supplies that you need when you install the bottom sealer. You're going to need the tape measure, of course the bottom sealer from StopTheSnirt.com, a good scissors, the screws that come with it, they're self-tapping screws, a rag, and a power drill, battery powered drill. And that is all the supplies you need to install your bottom seal and seal up the bottom of your garage door. So our next step is to open up the garage door because you install the bottom seal standing up. It works the best. And what I have found is you want to raise the garage door so it's about shoulder height of your height, the person installing it. So we're going to raise the door. About right there on the shoulder height. Okay, installing the bottom seal. First of all, this is made from a Kevlar belting material. It won't tear, mice won't get through this. But we have 3 parts to it. We have what I call the lip, and then we have the loop, and then we have the center insulator, our polyethylene tube that will insulate for you, because this will seal and insulate at the same time. The only garage sealer that does that. So what we call the lip will go on the back of the garage door, and the loop goes underneath. You do not have to remove your existing seal. We rather you keep it on because now we have 2 layers. We have, like in the wintertime, a t-shirt and a shirt. Now, a popular question is how do I line this up? What we like to do is go halfway, top to bottom, halfway on the tube, and line that up to the bottom of your garage door. If you come around and look at that, that's how we like to align this. So the bottom of the door, not the bottom of the insulation, but the bottom of the door, about halfway going top to bottom. You can go 1/3 and even lift more if you have bigger gaps, but ideally this is where you want to line it up. And you do not want to go like this here, and this is a big no-no also. So about halfway. And of course you can fluctuate this as you go across the garage door if you have dips in your garage floor, because you can go almost to 1/3 from the top, but ideally we want to go halfway. Okay, so in the next step, and again this video is to show how one person can install this by themselves. What we're going to do is we're going to line this up so we are about an 1/8 inch from the left rail. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go left to right. And the first screw that we're going to put in is approximately 6 inches from the left. And so I'm going to do that right now. If you want to come over here and see that better, so we're going to go about 6 inches. Now, our next screw, we're going to put 12 inches, take out the slack, 12 inches, take out the slack, 12 inches, take out the slacks, 12 inches. Some people are really good at guessing what 12 inches are. However, what a lot of people will do is they'll use a leveler or a tape measure, and they go and just put a little line every 12 inches. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across and put one every 12 inches, because that way I know for sure I'm every 12 inches. Now, we get questions on where do you install the screw. Ideally, we like to install this halfway between the two threads. So when I'm going left to right, I will be installing this approximately right here. You can go a little lower. We don't want you to go a little higher, but basically halfway to about 3/4 is where you're going to be installing that. Okay, so we're going to install our second screw. I have it marked at 12 inches. This is what's really important. I use my left hand and I take all the slack out. So I have this lined up and I take all the slack out. You want to take as much as you can. We're going to do the next one. Then once we do the next one, we're going to go outside and see how it looks to make sure we're running pretty level across. So again, I'm going to take out the slack, put about halfway in between. So let's go outside here. Well, I want to go outside. I want to see if I'm running level pretty much, because this is a pretty flat floor. If I have a dip, I'm going to want to adjust accordingly. But if you can see, I'm coming across pretty level. Just making sure I'm not getting too off the center. I'll do that a couple of times when I go across the door. It's really important when you do a wider door, like a 16-foot door or a 20-foot door, because you can get off a little bit. But we're doing good. We're running this at a good rate. Now we're going to install another screw, 12 inches. And we will be coming back and installing a screw every 6 inches. But when we initially install it, we go every 12 inches. Again, we're taking all the slack out. We want to make sure we're tight. I'm just going in, making sure I'm doing good. Yep, we're good. Okay, we're coming to the end here, so I'm going to show you how we trim this up. We're going to install our last 12-inch screw before we come in and do the 6 inches. So again, I'm taking all the slack out. Then you take a good scissors, and it's always good to cut twice instead of once. So here we gave you extra material. We always give you extra material because we want to go from rail to rail. So I'm going, looks like right here, cut it out right there. Yep. So, okay, so that's pretty close. Now here's what I do next. We'll have to do some trimming here, especially a lot of garage door has slats. We will always cut to fit those slats. We'll take this, your scissors, and cut like this to fit the slats. This door does not have that. It's rare you don't have that. But that's how you handle that. You want to fit right in. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the garage door, and I'm going to see if I see any line. See if we need to make any adjustments before we put the 6-inch screw. Okay, if you look, we've just done our screws every 12 inches. Then we're going to stop and look if we need any adjustment. because not all floors are level. I thought this floor was more level than it is, but if you look here, we're not making the best of seal right here. So before I install the 6-inch screws, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this screw, this one here, and this one, and we're just going to lower this. So we have a nice tight seal. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so what we ended up doing is we lowered these 3 screws because we had a little dip in our garage floor. Once we did that, we then saw a little bit over here. So we adjusted these 3, and then when we closed it a third time, we needed to adjust that screw. And that's okay, because garage floors are not always level. This was a good example. This is an older building that they put the new garage door in. So, but if you look left to right now, we have it sealed. Remember the picture before? That was not sealed. So now, especially once we get the screws in every 6 inches, because we're going to go now and install a screw every 6 inches and finish up the ends, we will keep SNIRT from happening in this garage door. Okay, so now we're going to install screws every 6 inches. We're going to start left to right. Now this is a thicker metal, and sometimes that takes a little bit for the self-tapping screws to get through, but we will get that done here correctly. And you got to determine where you want to place this. I'm going to place it way on the outside here. And sometimes you'll have to get a drill bit. This one's a real thick one because it's a commercial door. I'm just going to look at it. Okay. Other ones will go a lot easier. So now when we do these other ones here, what I like to do is pull down like here and then put in the screw. See how my hand's pulling down? And I'm going to be, when I position the screw, I want it to be closer to the bottom, probably about 3/4. And then we just go all the way across, we tuck it down. We get a nice seal that way. We want it tight so we can keep water out. So we'll just go across and finish this up. So we're coming to the end. Again, we just finished going across the 10-foot wide door, whatever width door it is. And again, when we put the 6-inch screw, we want to tuck down, pull down, and then put the screw, if you can see them, more closer to the bottom. We like to have it at least center to 3/4 because that what gives you a nice tight seal. Then we're going to finish that up here. And we always give you extra screws in case you need to do some adjusting. So now we're looking at this here. This looks real good. Now what we're going to need to do here is because of this garage door, how this door is made out. If we come really close here, if you look here, if you go here, this edge is farther this way than the edge on the rail closer to your garage door. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim the bottom loop because we don't want it to catch. And I'm going to have to do it on the other side too when I'm done. Because the rail, some rails are straight, some rails are not straight. This way, because that way it runs up and down. We want it to run underneath the door nicely. So that's what we needed to do there. Now I'm going to grab and put the last screw in on this here, and then if we need to add any other screws, we will. I'm going to put this on the bottom here, right here. Feather easier there. And then what I'm going to do, just so it, because of how it bunches here, I'm going to just take a little bit and cut it around those bolts. It'll sit better. Just helps to sit better. So let's come over here, folks. Okay, we're coming now on the left side. We're also going to trim this, but we're trying to give you a short. On this rail, the inside edge is about a 3/8 inch further in than the part of the rail that faces outside. So what does that mean? That means that this is going to catch going up and down, and you won't get the best seal that you could get. We want to get the best seal. And I've seen that before on garage doors. So what I'll do is I'll take that bottom loop and I will just trim it up, catch it, trim it. Again, it's always better to cut twice. Yep, perfect. But if I always want to cut short and then do it again if I have to. See now? This will go up and down on the door instead of binding up, because this will bind up, and then over time that it won't seal as good. We just finished up this 10-foot garage door installation of the bottom seal, and as you can see, we stop SNIRT from happening here in the future. We used to see the daylight at several locations, and look at it. We have it sealed. Plus, unlike the other seal, it's sealed and it's insulated, because now we have a good piece of insulation to keep those snirty monsters from getting into this area. If that's dirt, bugs, mice, snow, heat loss in the fall, summer, in the fall, winter, or spring, or in the summertime, keeping cool air in. So SNIRT happens, we just stopped it here. Okay. What I like to do before I finish up the job, I want to see how that SNIRT, the bottom seal, runs against the rail. And as we get up here, I've noticed that it kind of needs a little trimming. On the bottom it looked good here, but if you look really here, you see that's puckering. Thank you. Puckering. So we're going to lower it down, just trim it, because we don't want it to pucker. The other side is perfect. See, that's over here. This one's not touching it at all. We're perfect over there. But the other, and this over here on the left side, see that? We kept the eye going up and down, and it's perfect. But the other side is puckering. So we're going over here. Let me just show you that again. Right there, you can see it's puckering a little bit. So we're going to just trim it probably about 1/8 of an inch and solve that problem. So we want you to keep an eye. We want you to open and close the door once and see if you see any rubbing or puckering